Hi everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to my channel. So I thought I'd quickly come on this morning and do a quick video about the true meaning of Jesus' death on the cross. Before I begin, I'd just like to clarify that I do not believe in religion. I believe in God and Jesus Christ, and that Jesus Christ came to show us a way to peace and abundance for all. My videos are not for those that already know the word, although you're welcome to watch. My videos are for those that do not know the story of Jesus Christ. And I'm going to speak a little bit faster than I normally do because this is quite long, and I'd like to get it into one video. So let me begin. There is a truth, a deep, unsettling, powerful truth that many of us feel, but few of us fully understand. And it's this: He knew. He knew He was going to suffer. He knew He was going to be betrayed. He knew He would be rejected, and He knew He would die. That was not a surprise. This was not an accident. This was not something that happened to Him. This was something He agreed to. In Matthew 16 verse 21, it says that Jesus began to show His disciples that He must go to Jerusalem, suffer many things, be killed, and be raised on the third day. He spoke about it openly. Why? Because this was not a moment of defeat. This was divine alignment. An agreement not written in words, but written in will, between Jesus and God. And Jesus makes it clear in John 10 verse 18. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. That means the cross was not forced, it was chosen. Because we live in a world that runs from suffering. We avoid it, we fear it, we resist it. But Jesus walked towards it, not because He loved pain, but because He understood purpose. Philippians 2 verse 8 says, He humbled Himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Obedience, surrender, alignment. This is the language of Jesus' life. Now let's go to the garden, because this is where it becomes real. In Matthew 26 verse 39, Jesus prays, My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but your will. Do you hear that? That is the moment where humanity and divinity meet. The moment where weight is felt, where the fear is real, where the cost is undeniable. That is the agreement, not a contract of suffering for reward, but a union of trust. A complete surrender to the will of God. Not many people say God promised Jesus eternal life for His suffering, but let's go deeper. Jesus didn't earn eternal life. John 1 verse 1 tells us, In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and Word was God. Now many people think that they're referring to the Bible in that verse, but they're actually referring to God in His entirety before anything was written. Jesus is eternal, but through His suffering He revealed eternal life. He demonstrated it because what happened after the cross? Resurrection. Matthew 28 verse 6 declares, He is not here, He has risen, just as He said. Just as He said. Meaning, He knew. He trusted the promise of God beyond the pain of the process. And Philippians 2 verse 9 to 11 says, Therefore God exalted Him to the highest place and gave Him the name above all names, not as a payment, but as a revelation, a revealing of glory that was always there. And here's where it becomes personal, because Jesus didn't work this path just to be admired. He walked it to show us the way. In Luke 9 verse 23, He says, Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Take up your cross, not His cross, but yours. Not the same suffering, but the same surrender. Because every single one of us will face moments where we are invited into that same agreement. Because moments where we must choose our will or God's will, our understanding or God's wisdom, our control or God's plan. And those moments will feel what Jesus felt in the garden: the hesitation, the wait, the cost. God, if there is another way, but the power is in what comes next, not my will, but yours. Because surrender is not weakness, it's alignment, and alignment unlocks life. Jesus said in John 12, verse 24, "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it produces much grain." There is no multiplication without surrender, no resurrection without a laying down, no eternal life without trust. And then he says in Matthew 16, verse 25, "Whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." This is the paradox of the kingdom. You find life by surrendering it. You step into eternity by trusting God fully. So, yes, Jesus knew he was going to die. Yes, there was an agreement, but it was deeper than a transaction. It was love, it was obedience, it was unity with God. And yes, there is a promise, not just for him, but for all of us. John 11, verse 25, Jesus says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die." That is a promise. That is the promise. Life beyond death, peace beyond understanding, and purpose beyond pain. So whatever you are facing right now, whatever feels heavy, whatever feels like a cross in your life, don't run from it. Bring it to God. Because what looks like an ending may be alignment. What feels like surrender may be the doorway to life. Jesus knew. He knew the pain, he knew the cost, he knew the promise, and still he said yes. So the question is, will we? Will we trust God beyond what we see? Will we surrender beyond what we feel? Will we align our will with his even when it is hard? Because on the other side of that yes is life. Eternal, unshakable, divine. Jesus knew and he said yes. Now it's our turn. So I don't say these words lightly because I have walked this path, so I know them to be true. And I really hope that someone finds value in this video. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. Sending much love. God bless.